DJ Son of Free.
And we're back. What's going on, everybody? So we're gonna start today. We got to get the radiator installed, and then maybe we can get the cradle out today. If not, we'll have it ready to get dropped. So that's the goal for today. So I got my fans ready on the radiator. So I'm gonna wire them up in the car. That way I'll see where wires is at. I'll solder all that in there, so I'll do that later. I do have a bolt coming for the balancer. Source that out. We got our washers that's needed to completely bolt down the plenum. These are my 95-pound injectors, 1,000 cc's. So those are my 80s, which I sold those. We got our 1,000 cc's, those to go on. So I got one of my, I don't know if he subscribed to my channel or not, but he reached out to me on YouTube, Kyle Baker. He was watching, you know, how I put the flywheel on. And he was showing concern that, you know, if it should be 11 pounds and another 50 degrees. Well, he made a good point about when you put the clutch on and you bolt it to the transmission, the clutch could hit the trans case. So I know I torqued them. They're torqued to spec because I do it just like how I did all the other flex plates, but this is a flywheel. Maybe it's different. So what I'm gonna do, once I get the cradle in the car, before I'm ready to put, because I want to put the trans in this week. So before I do that, I'll take the motor off the engine stand again, set it on the ground. I'll make the transmission to the motor before I paint it. And then once I do that, we'll mate it to there with the clutch on, and we'll spin it to make sure that the clutch isn't hitting the transmission. And if that works out, then everything's cool. Then okay, we'll put the motor back on the engine stand. I don't have to touch the flywheel, and we'll go back to our scheduled program. But it's better to double check, which I appreciate him reaching out to me about that. So we're gonna go ahead and address that. But first, let's attend to what's at hand right now and get this radiator out. We're gonna get this radiator out, and then we're gonna work on getting this cradle out. We'll worry about the motor later. Also, I got these so it's got cradle spacers on it now that I don't need, which I sold those. So to help with axle geometry, because this car is lowered, and I can't use shorter dog bones, so I got engine cradle spacers, engine and trans spacers. But what I have to do here, I was reading on the reviews on these that a lot of people was having problems with the trans mount not wanting to go on, which they're absolutely correct. So see, it doesn't line up. So what I have to do is I gotta just drill the hole a little bigger, and I should be all right. I didn't check the motor mount, but I think the motor mount was fine. Yeah, I gotta do the same thing with the motor mount. So the holes don't line up. If you buy these, you gotta drill the holes out. So it's not a big deal. Some people it is a big deal. That's how they get bad reviews over just little dumb shit like that. I mean, even with the fuel logs, like see how they just don't line up? Like shit like that gives them bad reviews, but I mean, it's something stupid. I don't care. But yeah, well, that's enough rambling. Let me get this work area set up. You know how I do. Gotta have my work area set up. And we'll get back to our scheduled program. Oh, but first, let me show y'all this. This came out clean. Now they're just sitting here. I ain't get them welded on yet. They'll be like I said, they just sitting there. I used to have the trapezoids on there, but they'll be, yeah, that looks clean. They come up like that, clean, clean. All right, let me let's get to work. Okay, so we got the radiator out. It's a little crusty down there, not too bad. It's expected. So there's our radiator. There's our new radiator. It's a little bent right there, but that ain't bad. So I need to take the rubber sleeves on the bottom of this out. Oh no, I don't. They're already down there. All right, so I could just go ahead and drop this in, and then we'll go from there. All right, so our ZZP aluminum radiator is in. That was really easy. So now we got plenty of space with the fans. If you watch the previous video, you'll see that the coil pack bracket was hitting the fans on this side. Now I do gotta address this. I think I got a solution for that. It's just a little bit wobbly because there's not. I'll figure it out. Yeah, so there's that. I undercoated the bracket, so that's good to go. Next up, we're gonna get these control arms off and disconnect everything off of the cradle, and then we got to get the racket pinion unbolted and the power steering line. I got to get that off of there, and then once we get that all cleared, we got to jack the car up, put the jack on the back on the actual car itself, and then once we get that, then we put a jack on one side of the cradle, unbolt one side, let that side drop, and then we'll unbolt this side or whatever side I put the jack on, and just lower it down and the cradle will be dropped. Once we get the cradle out, then I'll take the sway bar out. It'll be way easier to do it that way. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is my first time doing a cradle swap. So this is a learning experience for me. I may fuck this up, I don't know, but we're gonna find out. So let's get the work area set up, and we're gonna get these control arms off, and then we're gonna hop on the other side, get those taken off, and then we'll just keep going. Okay, so we got the control arms and the tie rods disconnected. They're done on both sides. All right, now what we got to do, we're almost there. We got to that power steering line right there, we got to disconnect that from the cradle. We got to take those two bolts off right there for the rack and pinion, and then we got to unclip the harnesses from the cradle, and then we should be ready to drop. So once we get that, we gotta man, I'm sorry, my sinuses is tripping. All right, once we get that, we gotta somehow suspense the power steering pump and then suspense the AC compressor, and then take the harness and just just get it out the way. And then once we get to that point, we'll jack the car up, put the jack stands back on the actual car itself, and then we'll put a jack on one side, unbolt that side, and then we'll go on the other side, and I'll unbolt both ends, and then I'll be able to drop it, and then I'll jack the other side down. Then we should be straight. So that's the plan. I'm gonna take a little intermission, and then we'll continue on. All right, so now we got the rack and pinion unbolted from the cradle. We got the power steering hoist up, it ain't going nowhere. And then we got the AC compressor up there. Harnesses disconnected from the frame, or the cradle, I mean. So we're ready to drop this thing. So what I'm gonna do now is I gotta clear my work area underneath the car, and then reposition the jack stands, and then let's drop this cradle. Okay, so my plan worked. Got the cradle out. So now I gotta take my sway bar off, move that over to the aluminum cradle, and then take my trans mount off. But yeah, we got that all out the engine bay. So it's still hard to believe I did that by myself. It's crazy. Well, I think I'm gonna end it right there for the day. But just to give you a taste of what's to come, we got the sway bar to put on, and then we got instead of using cradle bushings, we got the LS4 King Fergus billet cradle bushings. So those will be going on. So I'm gonna end today's episode right here. I hope I got good camera angles, and I hope you guys enjoying this. So we'll continue where we left off on the next episode.